Hello, everyone, and welcome to See This Stories. And this is the signature segment of the 3-hour news show on See Today. Now, before we talk with our guest today, I have a question for you. Have you ever tried kayaking before?
I have not actually, but it looks like a lot of fun. It looks very tiring, but it looks like it's very good exercise.
Yes.
That's so much, and I think
I've tried
you've
it.
tried it, right?
I've tried it. So
how is it?
many hotels in Bali provides these activities for free. Actually, you can try, but since I know nothing about kayak, I don't know which type that I tried, but all I remember was it was so heavy, you know?
Right.
It was challenging.
Because you have to paddle your own body weight and then also the weight of the kayak.
That's true.
Well, right?
And it's not easy to navigate as well, like to right, left, go straight. It's impossible for me.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tim Dayung Jelajah Nusantara, or DJN, will hold a sea kayaking expedition in, guess where?
Belitung, our
Yes.
favorite holiday destination. Right, so Team Dayung Jelajah explores the sea by kayaking. Wow, that sounds tiring. And it can reach areas that are difficult to navigate by larger boats. Through the sea kayak expedition, the team hopes to discover the new stories of Belitung Island. Now, the expedition will be held in August and will take around a month to complete.
A month, can you believe it?
Yeah, and so, we're gonna delve deeper into this, but this also involves, so going around the island, kayaking, and then, it's gonna take a month. So at night, you go camping, and then so it's a whole thing. And
I guess a month is not too long when it comes to exploring Belitung, because as we have witnessed ourselves, it is so insanely beautiful.
It's so beautiful, it's so relaxing, all the beaches. I'm actually going there. So I'm
You're
thinking
going
about it.
there in a few days, right?
Yeah,
So
right. So maybe I'll try to kayak around Belitung as well. Maybe. But we're gonna find out more about this expedition around Belitung. We have with us in the studio the sea kayakers. We have Mas Bangkit and Mas Nico. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
welcome. This is not your first time coming here.
Well,
Second time?
As a team, this is our second time. For us, me personally and him, this is our first attending this kind of talk show.
Welcome back. Okay, so we kept mentioning sea kayaking. Okay, so how is it different than the other kayak? I mean, we know that in the Olympic there's this kayak competition, of course, but this is obviously different because you're more into the expedition part of it, right?
Deeper into the sea.
And exploring. Can you tell us more about sea kayaking first before we start the discussion?
So basically, sea kayaking is one of the branch of kayaking itself. So we've got whitewater kayaking and sea kayaking. But in sea kayaking, we can get whitewater itself because whitewater is not only on the river, it's like a water that goes white, like the white cap or etc., like wavy condition. And in sea kayaking, on our context, it's an expedition, It means we're going to have to paddle multi-days.
What do you mean by that?
Multi-days, multiple days.
Multiple days.
Yeah,
Oh,
so it's not,
Okay.
probably in Bali it's just like only a rent,
Right.
And you're doing that daily, probably for a couple of hours.
Okay.
And as an expeditioner, when we are doing expedition, we're going multiple days, of course. So the kayaks that we are using is particularly for expedition itself.
So it's different than the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
ones.
We got,
Okay, let's talk about that.
We got several types of kayak. And in sea kayaking, we got sit on top, which means we are going to sit on top of the kayaks.
Okay.
And this over here, we are having the sit-in kayak. So we're gonna go inside the kayak, and we are going to become one, like the F1 drivers,
Like the F1 driver.
Yeah, we're going in the cockpit, the cockpit, and more or less.
So for this particular expedition around Belitung, how many kilometers are you traversing? How many kilometers will you do in, I think, a month's time? And how many hours a day do you kayak to get around the island?
So over here, this man, Nico, he is our operational commander, which means he is in charge for planning our expedition and setting our camping point.
Okay.
Each day we're going to move from one point to another point, from A to B to Z, from the starting point to the finishing point.
Got it.
And this guy over here, he's the one who's in charge for that.
Okay,
Probably,
Nico, then-
yeah, he can answer that.
Okay, to make it simpler, perhaps
okay.
you can tell us what a day of a sea kayaker look like. You know, like this will be a month-long expedition, right? Just give one example of a day. What do you do in a day from the moment you wake up until you sleep?
Okay, I will tell it a bit. So every day we will do paddling. I mean, it's like moving from one point to the next point.
Okay.
To the campsite it's around 422 kilometers. So we will split it to around 28 days.
A day.
Yeah.
28 days.
28
And
days.
it's about 8 hours per day paddling.
Wow.
So from we wake up, we need to prepare our equipment, our gear, so and break down our camp and our camp gear, and also put it into the kayak,
Okay.
and we paddling and move to the next point.
Okay. The reason why I ask you a day in the life of a kayaker is that I want to know, when do you guys eat? When do you guys take breaks?
I was gonna ask that because it's 8
Right?
straight hours of
Exactly.
Consecutive, yeah.
Okay, perhaps Bangkit, you can tell us more about it.
yeah.
So we got a bit different style of eating, let's say.
Right.
For having breakfast, we are going breakfast and dinner. We're going to have it at our campsite.
Okay.
Yep.
But during our paddling days, in the middle of the days, we are going to have lunch on top of our kayak.
On top
Here?
of the
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the
So
middle of
pretty much like in the middle of the ocean, floating around,
Wow.
you know.
Okay.
And yeah, that's why we have to adjust a little bit with
Right.
our lunch behavior or habits, and pretty much we are going to have more or less snacking. So
Snacking.
it's
So
snacking.
it's
more
But-
snacking.
Yeah, but we count the calories because paddling is quite demanding physical activity.
And you can't be on calorie
Yes.
deficit, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, we're gonna be skinny after the expedition. You know what I mean? And
Right.
yeah, we're going to have some snacks on top of the kayaks. We got several types of fruit as well during our lunch. So it's not only sweet, but we got sour a little bit and salty stuff as well. Of
Can you
course,
give an example of what
like
snacks you have for lunch?
protein bars,
Protein
chocolates,
bars.
yeah,
So
and
easy
fruits
to
as well.
eat,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Right.
And sausage, like ready to eat sausage.
I see, because it would be impossible for you to cook inside the
On top of the kayak,
Right.
yeah, it would be possible.
So pretty
Not
much-
possible.
All right. So, right. So.
Go ahead.
I mean, how do you? Because there are safety issues, right? Of course, right?
Yes.
First of all, how many of you guys are going on this expedition together? And do you guys kind of look out for each other? Is there maybe a boat?
Following you guys?
Following you guys, or if there's any
Well-
safety issues? Like, no, or you guys
Now,
just go alone?
do you want to explain that?
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So in our team we have a land support team
Right.
with a car and motorcycle to back up our paddling system from land. And also in some spot we need to cover it from boats
Okay.
also.
Okay.
So we need also every day we need to back up from land and from the boat also.
I see. Well, kayaking on the sea, it would be very, very challenging because of the heat,
Yep.
right? So you need to hydrate, of course, throughout the day. Now, my question is, you cannot just randomly find an island to go number 1 or number 2, right? So how do you guys do it then? With all of those hydration?
Well, yeah, that is a good question actually.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an issue, isn't it?
Right.
Right, for number 1, it's a bit easier because we got several ways to do it. This man over here, Nico, he got his own bottle,
Oh,
particularly only
Right.
for,
Toilet.
you know what I mean?
right.
Yes.
That's for number 1.
Got it.
Yeah. And for number 2, we trying to once again adapt with our system. That's why we kind of change our biological hours.
Got
so
it.
either in the morning or after paddling.
So you guys have a set time when you
Yes,
have to
that's
go.
why we already prepared that kind of stuff. For this 1 month, it's a bit long paddling day, of course.
Okay.
And we did several months of practicing and training and trying to adapt with the heat, with the wave as well, with the swell, etc.
Yeah.
It already started since May.
So how
Our-
long
our
has it been?
training.
How many
A few months or?
Yeah, like
Right.
3 or 4 months already.
Nice.
All right. So what does it take to do this successfully? Sea kayaking, I mean.
But before we move on to another topic, I would like to ask, is there any girl or woman in the team? Because
okay.
because we were talking about how to go number 1, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's easy for guys. You can just use a bottle, but what
Yeah.
if you have a woman on the team?
Indeed, we have 2 women on the team, yes.
Really?
But, so we got 2 smaller teams, like the paddlers and the land supporting team. On the paddling team, we got 1 woman.
How does she do it?
And she often just, get out from the kayak and just get into the sea. Take her
All
time, you know what I
natural.
mean? All natural,
All natural.
naturally.
Okay, now I-
But of course, with the other teams, keep an eye on her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mind the distance a bit, but
Now
still.
I know. Okay, go on with the question.
Right.
Sorry.
So I mean, these days it's quite trendy to kind of
Yeah.
maybe run marathons and
Yeah.
so forth. So if someone wants to do this, like, what would they need to do? Do they need a lot of cardio or like a lot of strength? I'm guessing strength as well with the arms. right?
Yeah, and endurance as well.
Yeah.
Those muscles. You can clearly see it.
Do you want
You
to
can see
pump
the
it?
vein.
Yeah, pump it a bit so they know. Yeah, that's the thing about sea kayaking. It's not really so if you're doing a lot of sea kayaking, that
Yeah.
doesn't really make you skinny. It doesn't really burn fat.
Right.
Actually, it's more like physical activity, like train your muscle. And yeah, because we already trained, like doing the sea kayaking. We started slowly on flat water, and we did upgrade it, the wavy condition and longer paddling days, of course. That's why we got target for each days. But on our training period, we started slowly. And that's also related to some of our new members from the new batch of our outdoor club, 100.
Yeah.
3 of them were new as a sea kayaker, yeah. But we got advantages because one of them starting from whitewater kayaking, and one of them wasn't a sea kayaker but already get used to play in the ocean, the sea.
Oh, okay, so he's comfortable.
Yeah.
with the
And
environment.
one of them, he wasn't really playing in the sea, but he was a a rafter? Yeah. He was a rafter, like on the river.
Where do you guys practice though for beginners? Because we know when it comes to diving, we start in a pool, right? In
Yeah.
a really
Yeah.
deep pool, and then when you are comfortable enough, you can try it out
Yeah.
in the sea.
Yeah.
Now, what about kayak?
Well, we can start from the pool as well, of course.
Okay.
But with the smaller kayaks, not
Okay.
this one, probably, because with the smaller kayak, we can get in touch more with the kayak. Like, we can, bond more with the kayak. We know the characteristic of the kayak. We know the essential of doing kayaking. And we start from pool to flat water, like on the lake or on a reservoir, like near Bandung, where we are based.
Yeah.
There is a reservoir nearby, so we often go there to practice on our stroke, paddling stroke, and to just basically get in touch more with the kayak.
Got it. But is there any specific skill that a kayaker needs to have? Like, because when I see the anatomy of a kayak
Yeah.
itself, I think some of it are easily, can easily flip.
Capsized. Yeah.
Or upside down.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I
Right.
guess you have to have that skill in order to be able to flip it back up. Is that true?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be like that because, sea kayaking can be fun as well, but not really demanding. But on our context, since we are doing expedition, that is one of the fundamental skills, let's say, to do what we call the Eskimo roll. Eskimo roll, yes.
Right.
So basically, you are rolling your kayaks from the position upside down.
So you are under the water.
While you're underwater and without getting out from the kayak.
That's okay.
That's the
because
thing,
my
without
first
getting
logic
out of the
would
kayak.
be,
Yes.
when you flip over, just
You
go
get out,
out
right.
and then,
Yeah.
Right. And you
Just
kind of
flip
flip.
it.
Yeah.
And then get back in.
Yeah, that was the context for an expedition. But for fun or for like, if you're doing a recreational kayaking, you didn't have to do that because we got the technique that we call the re-entry.
Re-entry.
Yes, and it will be assisted because we are not going alone. Yeah. So there were several techniques how to do that. But basically, we re-enter the kayak with the assist of your body.
Okay.
So when the kayak is capsized or upside down, you get out from your kayak and empty the water and flip the kayak again, put it side by side on your body, and then
Right.
the victim, let's say, or
Yeah.
the one who gets out from the kayak, re-enter the kayak.
That sounds
Okay.
complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
That's,
doesn't.
I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
man,
for a first time you would panic, right?
Yeah.
You're under the
It
water.
sounds
like-
complicated,
Yeah.
but when you're doing it by just watching the other, it's
Right.
not really complicated like it sounds.
All right, I believe you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we want to go through some of these equipments because, I mean, this kayak is huge. And yeah, so just go through us this particular kayak, why you're using this one.
Yeah.
And also your camping equipment as well. Do you guys like look for your own food when you're camping, or is it just for resting?
Do you have time to answer? Yeah.
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 Sure.
About the
About our
Okay, let's
kayak,
start with the
about
kayak.
our equipment and our logistic, our
Yeah.
food.
What do you
etc.
have inside this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then, so about the re-entry and the roll, so you don't worry about it because we also always use the personal floating device.
Oh, it's like a life jacket?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like safety personal equipment.
Okay.
We must have to wear it. So from the feet and to the top.
I see.
Okay.
So one kayak, one person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personal. Yeah.
And I see two paddles. So do you use both or
We only use one, but the other one is for spare.
for backup?
Yeah, for
Got it.
backup. Yes.
And where do you store the tent? Because you know?
Yeah. The unique thing about this kayak is since it's a sit-in kayak, it's closed. The design of the kayak is closed. And inside the kayak, we got partition, what we call it the bulkhead. So each several distance of the kayak has its own compartment. For example, this kayak,
Right.
if you
I
see
get
on top
it.
of the kayak,
I was wondering what those were,
there
right.
are black stuff on the kayak around.
Okay.
So they are the compartments.
Is that for the food or the one in front, or what is that for?
The one in front is a
Yeah.
bit smaller, so you can store something small.
Something small.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
Some
your
food, so
smartphone?
or camera.
Camera,
or,
see?
Oh.
Gadgets. Gadgets.
Yeah, we are
Got it.
land people. So, yeah.
And in front of the kayak, so this kayak got two main compartments.
Right.
One on the front and one on the back, on the bow or on the stern. It's the biggest compartment compared to the other two.
Okay.
So
the tent
we can store the tent inside the kayak on front or
Yeah.
on the back side of the kayak. We can store our foldable chair over there. And we can store,
chair? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you see that chair over there and that tent, if we packed it, the size of it is not longer than my femur. Like,
Oh.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
it's like this length. So we
Okay,
can store it inside the kayak, either on the front or on the back.
Right.
And we can store our cooking stuff
In the kayak, in those.
inside the kayak, yes, one of those.
So,
Yeah.
so those are for breakfast and dinners, right?
Yeah.
What do you usually cook?
Ooh.
Is it always something instant, or perhaps
No.
you get some clams from the
No.
island?
So we cook, of course, Asian style rice.
And fish from the ocean? Is it?
Occasionally, probably, yeah.
Okay.
For our main dish, it would be like a MRE. Do you know that? Like for the military stuff, like meal ready to eat.
Oh.
So we basically just have to cook the rice,
And
and
then heat it up.
we're gonna heat up the MRE.
Right.
So we got rendang, beef rendang or chicken rendang,
Oh,
etc.
with that lifestyle, you know, during that
Yeah.
1 month of expedition, you eat those ready-to-eat food and sometimes only have snack for lunch. How do you keep your health? I mean, it's not an easy environment, right? You're constantly faced with the heat
Yeah.
of the sun in the middle of the ocean. How do
Yeah.
you maintain your health, and what
Yeah.
happens when you're sick, like when you're feeling under the weather during those trips?
Oh, it's yours. Yeah.
You also will tell about it.
Oh,
So,
right, you're
because-
the
yeah,
manager.
he's
So
the
what do you do?
commander.
What do you
You
do
know,
when your team members are sick during the trip?
Yeah. So the first time we will need to prepare ourselves. So about the weather, and we need to practice. That's Bangkit said 3 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
We start to exercise from 3 months ago, and we need to like what do you call it? A daily activity. So it's about the power and the endurance. So we need to improve ourselves while we are paddling. And then about what will we do if one of us gets sick. So that's we prepare all of the medical kit also, and our team also need to back up about if one of us gets sick. So it's like a emergency response procedure.
Right. So
Right.
the key is being prepared.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a standard, a procedure that you guys
Yeah.
have, of course. All right. So I have another question. Is I heard that you guys often encounter crocodiles when you're resting in your tent. So tell us more maybe about that experience and how you kind of avoided that. Is that true that you often, because this is one of the questions that.
Well, about this particular place in Belitung, yeah.
Right.
During our preparation, so we are preparing this expedition based on map. So we were taking a look at the maps of Belitung, the whole island of Belitung, and we're gonna, let's say, spot the possibility where the crocodile is.
Right.
Like, for example, estuary or the river mouth or the mangrove area, we can track that down by just looking at the maps firstly, yeah, to begin with. And we continue to gather and collect the data and information from our, let's say, partner over there. So we are collaborating with one of our local over there as well. And his purpose was to, like collecting the data about the weather as well, like the, where's the most possible we can spot the crocodile. And we already plot that on the map. So let's say we know where's the possibility of the area. And of course, because of that, based on that, we were having a training as well, how to handle the crocodile.
Wow.
Without hurting them?
Without hurting them, of course. Because, naturally, even though it's a wild animals, naturally they will, go away if they see something bigger than them.
Right.
And the size of the kayaks are often bigger than them.
Yeah.
True.
So in case, if some of them are aggressive, we did some practice on how to handle them without hurting them as well, of course.
Yeah.
And the best way, of course, to prevent that. That's why later on our expedition, if we are getting close to the area where it's the most possible we can meet the crocodile, we are going to have a different system in that.
Right.
For example, if we are getting close to the estuary, like the river mouth, we're going to going around a bit.
Oh,
Right.
see.
You know what I mean?
Take a longer
Avoid.
way.
Yeah, longer way to avoid. So
Right.
the essential thing I think is to prevent.
Yeah.
But if we did,
Encounter with one.
Yeah, encounter with one.
You already know what to do.
At least we know.
Yeah.
And also we're having a mangrove school. So theoretically about mangrove, and if you see a mangrove, we're often see those areas as just one green area, isn't it? Like
Yes. Yeah.
it's just green mangrove, that's it.
Yeah.
But because we had this mangrove school, so we know that there are several types of mangrove as well. And the relation to crocodile is where is the most, comfort zone for the crocodile. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Got it. Well, I still have a lot of questions for you,
Yeah.
but we're gonna have to take a little break. But do not worry, because the stories will continue after that. Still with Nico and Bangkit right here. So do not go anywhere. Stay with us right here on a 3-hour news show on See Today.